Missing key witness cripples Diddy prosecution. The prosecution against Sean Combs, known as Diddy, is facing significant challenges even before opening statements. A key witness, identified as Victim 3, has become uncommunicative, severely impacting the prosecution's ability to build a strong case. This absence is particularly damaging to counts directly related to this specific victim. The prosecution's reliance on a limited number of victim witnesses raises serious questions about the breadth and depth of their evidence. Depending on only 3 or 4 individuals to substantiate 2 decades of alleged criminal activity is a precarious position. Other potential witnesses, such as staff or associates, are likely to be viewed as less compelling than the alleged victims themselves. Furthermore, potential jurors have reportedly expressed concerns regarding the high-profile and inherently controversial nature of this case. This pretrial apprehension could influence their impartiality and further complicate the prosecution's efforts. The selection of an unbiased jury will be a critical hurdle. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Diddy faces serious charges, including racketeering conspiracy, which alleges a pattern of criminal activity. The charges also encompass sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation for the purpose of engaging in prostitution. Diddy maintains his innocence and vehemently denies all allegations. If convicted, Diddy faces a minimum sentence of 15 years, with the potential for a life sentence. The prosecution alleges that he ran a criminal enterprise through his various business ventures. This enterprise allegedly used firearms, threats, coercion, and abuse to fulfill his sexual desires. The severity of these charges underscores the gravity of the situation and the potential consequences for Diddy's future. The prosecution must present compelling evidence to overcome the presumption of innocence. The defense will undoubtedly mount a vigorous challenge to these claims. The defense is expected to employ a risky and complicated strategy, introducing the concept of mutual violence within the alleged relationships. Their aim is to portray these relationships as volatile and characterized by violence on both sides. This approach will likely focus on establishing who held the power in each specific relationship. However, the argument of mutual violence does not automatically negate claims of coercion or abuse. Jurors may be skeptical of what could be perceived as a victim-blaming tactic. The defense must tread carefully to avoid alienating the jury. If successful, this strategy could potentially mitigate Diddy's alleged actions by suggesting a shared responsibility for the violence. The defense will need to present credible evidence to support this narrative. The burden of proof remains with the prosecution to demonstrate coercion and lack of consent. Diddy also faces potential testimony from Cassie Ventura, his former partner, whose allegations have already garnered significant public attention. Cassie is likely to elicit sympathy from the jury, particularly given her status as an alleged assault victim and her current pregnancy. Her appearance and demeanor will be crucial factors. The defense may attempt to remind the jury of the considerable time that has elapsed since the alleged incidents occurred. They might argue that the passage of time casts doubt on the accuracy and reliability of Cassie's memories. However, the prosecution will likely counter this by emphasizing the lasting trauma of abuse. Appearance before a jury is always a critical element, influencing both the defendant's perception and the credibility of witnesses. Cassie Ventura's pregnancy is likely to increase the likelihood of her being viewed as a sympathetic and credible witness. This could significantly impact the jury's perception of her testimony. Her physical stature further undermines the defense's potential argument that she was equally involved in and responsible for the alleged physical altercations. The prosecution will likely emphasize the power imbalance between Diddy and Cassie. This contrast could be a powerful tool in persuading the jury. Prosecutors intend to present multiple versions of the video depicting Diddy allegedly assaulting Cassie Ventura. A video expert is expected to testify, analyzing the footage and potentially highlighting specific details. This video evidence is likely to be a central point of contention in the trial. The defense will likely argue that the video depicts a mutually violent altercation, with Cassie also exhibiting violence towards Diddy. They will attempt to frame the incident as an isolated event within a complex relationship. The defense will need to carefully manage the jury's perception of this highly sensitive evidence. Diddy's legal team needs to distance the Cassie Ventura hotel video from the broader allegations of racketeering and sex trafficking. They will likely attempt to box it in, describing it as a private issue between two people in a long-term relationship. This strategy aims to minimize the video's impact on the more serious charges. The defense will likely characterize the incident as a fight between two individuals dealing with personal issues such as infidelity, rather than an act of racketeering or sex trafficking. This narrative seeks to reframe the video within a context that is less damaging to Diddy's overall defense. The success of this strategy will depend on the jury's willingness to accept this alternative interpretation.